This morning, before we are joined by the daddies and other seniors, I would like to tell you a little bit about the spiritual significance of Christmas. Because we are Brahmins, yes? Everyone here has taken 84 births, yeah? Anybody taken any less? You've all taken 84 births? And so everyone has come here to the top of the mountain, especially to meet the great, great, great grandfather. Isn't that right? The great, great grandfather, Bap Dada. Great father and great grandfather. So that's great, great, great grandfather. Christmas is the festival of the birth of Jesus, but it's called Christ Mass, right? And Christ, as we heard from Brother Lee this morning, has the same Rashi as Krishna. Have you ever heard this word Rashi before? Rashi? No, right? You were learning Hindi, yes? So it's one to add to your list. Slowly, slowly your vocabulary grows. Rashi doesn't exist in English, and I don't know if it exists in the other languages that we have. But Rashi means the first sound of your name. So you all have different names. Some people have a name of 1 syllable or 2 syllables or 3 syllables, but the first one, the first letter or couple of letters, that's the Rashi. And when a baby gets born, then the priest will tell the parents a few names that child can have, and they all begin with the same Rashi. And so you can't have another name, but you have a choice within that. So Christ and Krishna, Kra, that's the Rashi. And there are many, many, many similarities in the story of Christ and the story of Krishna and the story of Shiva. And they're all mixed together. So the spiritual significance of Christmas is one of the ways to unravel this tangle that has happened over the centuries, because the ancient story of the birth of the world and the birth of heaven is actually now. But as we know, because we've taken 84 births, now also was then. And so then, from then to now, you can't forget the birth of heaven, because that is really the birth of the soul who takes 84 births, isn't it? And so what are the colors of Christmas? Red, white, and green. Yes? Have you ever seen Christmas any other color? Red, white, and green. Little bit of gold. So this is the color of India. Have you seen the Indian flag? Little kind of orangey red, white, and green. Yes, all connected. We have a lovely Christmas tree. Now, in the biblical story of Krishna, Christ, or the story of Krishna, there's no tree. Have you ever seen any tree in those scriptures? It's not there. What do we have when we celebrate Christmas? We must have a tree. Yes? Can you imagine Christmas without a tree? Even if you have a little tiny tree, but it's still a tree. Some people have a very, very big tree. And I think probably in the White House in the United States is where they keep the biggest Christmas tree, or maybe in Trafalgar Square in London, they have a very big one there. And here we have ours, Madhuban Christmas. What is the tree? The tree is the family. The tree is us. The original tree, of course, is the Kalpa tree. And under the tree, you see, there are gifts. So we have become Shiv Baba's little children, yes? Baba says in every Murli, Mite, Mite, Bache, isn't it? And in the one that we read, or the one that is translated, that you get in the centers through the internet and all this, you get sweet children a few times. But you know that when Baba was speaking the Murli, sweet children came many times. And so, on Christmas, part of the gifts, one section of the gifts under the tree is sweets. What do you always get in Christmas? Sweets, chocolate, so many different kinds of sweets. And in Christmas, you also get fruit, yes? Fruit cake, but especially fruit. This is all tied up with the nature of our relationship with Shiv Baba. If it wasn't all about the experience of sweetness, not too much sugar kind of sweetness, another kind of sweetness, a sweetness which is so sweet that you can't leave. Have you tried to leave? Or seen anybody who left? They can't leave. Because the sweetness holds them to Baba. You know, sometimes it is said, the sugar knows and the sugar bag knows. And that's not that white sugar, but it's brown sugar, the original gur. Gur is the basic sugarcane sugar, the first level of sugar that comes. So part of our relationship with this birthing of heaven and the birthing of our own selves, the birth of our souls, we're not talking about birth of bodies here, that happens through the kalpa, but the feet tall, just the head. Red hat and white beard. So what is that? A red hat and a white beard. What is over the head of the old man is the red one. Shiv Baba. What else is it? It is Shiv Baba. And you know, if you see Brahma Baba's picture, you will see that there's a moustache, but there isn't any beard. Yet, Baba speaks about his beard. And this is why in Father Christmas, or in many of the Christian pictures of God, if you've seen pictures of God, an old man with a pretty long white beard, and he points the finger and someone gets created. Have you seen that? It's a very famous picture. So the finger is what? The index finger is the one that Vishnu holds his discus on to spin it. But the index finger is a symbol of directions, a symbol of Shrimat. So we become created by the combined form of the red one and the right one, using the index finger, and we become created. And what does that index finger give us? It gives us the treasures, the gifts of Gyan and yoga. Yes? As Dadi Janki was saying yesterday, first we receive the gift of knowledge. That is what we have underneath the Christmas trees. And you will notice that after every Murli, as you leave the hall, what do you get? You always get Toli. There's never any day except Thursday when you don't get Toli outside the hall, because on Thursday you get special sweet at breakfast. Like today we had jalebi. Did you all enjoy that? Christmas sweets. You see? Because if we have knowledge without sweet, then it doesn't have that same thing, that same impact. The sweetness of the understanding, of the realization of the knowledge and what it does to us, how we become alive, real living souls from dead souls. Of course, the soul is eternal, but there's a big difference between an eternal dead soul and an eternal revived soul. And when the soul gets revived by the light of knowledge and the soul lights up, there is so much sweetness. Because our life is no longer a materialistic life, no longer based on the philosophy of materialism. Our life is based on the gift of light, which is also the gift of life. And we come on this extraordinary pilgrimage to the ancient Holy Land. Because the original Christmas is in a place called the Holy Land. But the birth of Shiv Baba means also the birth of Brahma Baba, because until Shiv Baba was born, Brahma Baba was not Brahma Baba. Brahma Baba was also one of those souls who was to be ignited by the birth of that star. So that star comes, gives birth to Brahma Baba, makes him Brahma. And then through his mouth, we all get our birth. And so we follow that star, the ones who are looking for the star of wisdom. It is called the star of wisdom. And so we come to physically sit in front of Bap Dada, and we will be meeting Bap Dada on New Year's Eve of 2004. Now in Christianity they thought 2000 would be it. And in Gyan also many thought, okay, 2000, good round figure, that's it. And so Baba has been reminding us of going back to the home. So we make ourselves ready by being soul conscious. We become conscious of the star, and we sit in our places on the kalpa tree like little stars on the Christmas tree. And all of our gifts are safely tucked under it, because we're going to take off and go and become the tree of souls. Have you seen the tree of souls? You must have. It's all part of our basic study. The kalpa tree is called the upside down tree, but trees don't grow upside down, so it's turned the right way up. But when you go to the soul world, there's no earth there, and so the tree can hang as an upside down tree of souls. And so we go from this tree to that tree. Christmas is the magical birth, as a result of which it is said there are 1,000 years of peace. Have you heard that? 1,000 years of peace. Shiv Baba says, yes, round figures, fair enough, but it's 2,500 years of peace, double and then some. 2,500 years of beauty, peace, happiness, people understanding each other, where there is nothing lacking in the world, where there are no people who have any idea of the meaning of sorrow or suffering. Have no idea. This is the time of the innocent people. So Baba gives us birth, and he gives us this extraordinary period of the confluence age. And in Christmas, they say there are 12 days. 12 days of Christmas. And it starts on, say, 24th of December, and it goes on through till the 6th of January. 12 days of Christmas. So this represents the confluence age, the short period between the old year and the new year. You see, so you have 1 week before New Year, and then you have 1 week after New Year. So the confluence age is like that. We have one period of time before the big destruction and a little bit after the big destruction, because we have to have construction. And as Baba said in the Murli today, you will leave your body, you will take birth in a family of kings, and gradually the new world will be built. This is what it's said today in the Murli. So this is the confluence age. some half of it before the destruction and the other half of it after destruction. And so we are passing through that extraordinary time of the 12 days of Christmas. And on the 12th night, as you know, Shakespeare had written about 12th night, the last day of Christmas. And 12th night is when they get rid of the tree, don't need it anymore, chop it up, burn it. And it's a new year, new age. So in fact, this story that we are practically living in this Brahman life of ours, secretly, no one in the world has any idea what really we are doing. Even if you tell them everything, only a Brahman soul will get it. Only a Brahman soul will awaken and understand the meaning of your words, no matter what language it is spoken in. And now, Baba has given us a new direction. He has said, okay, lectures, programs, that's fine to keep you all busy, because what are you going to do for 12 whole long days, which maybe lasts as many as 67 years? So yes, we have to keep busy. But Baba says the real message is transmitted through your face and through your behavior, your character. And then people will say, who made this one? And so when those wise men came to see the Christ child, they had been sent by their astrological studies that a new creation has been made, and they went to see. And they brought 3 special gifts. You may remember those gifts. One of them is the gift of gold. One of them was the gift of incense, frankincense. And one of them was the gift of myrrh. And many people don't know what myrrh is, so I will tell you. But you all know what incense is, just agarbatti, right? And myrrh is something that is put on dead bodies. And so when you come to Baba, you surrender everything you have that is of any, what you consider any value. So that is represented by the gold. And you become changed, because everything that you surrender to Baba, Baba says, well, it's just, sticks and straw, really. It's not gold. Even if you give gold, it's still sticks and straws. But as much as you give of what you are and what you have, that offering, everything is transformed into gold, which is also remembered as the story of Midas. Everything he touched turned to gold. So as Baba touches us with his mind, he turns us into golden, pure, beautiful souls. And that gift of incense is our soul, our qualities, our virtues, the fragrance. And in return of that dedication, Baba makes us into spiritual roses. And he says, children, you are souls. And in the Gita it says, Krishna speaking to Arjuna, he says, they're already dead, so go and fight. That breaking of attachment, which is the last thing that holds us to that old, cold, snowy world. So Baba says, this Brahman life, where we all are wearing white, which is the uniform of corpses, isn't it, after all? Have you seen Indian funeral? Everybody is very nicely dressed in white. And sometimes very high souls, you put a bog cloth over the top and go up in flames. And so this is symbolic of our life, of being dead whilst alive. Dead whilst alive means there is no sorrow. There is no limitation. And this is why you can transform through this dead whilst alive, through applying this myrrh. And what happens to people who are dead whilst alive, who are fragrant and golden and soft? They become angels. And white is also the dress of angels. Of course, there are a few colored angels, but mostly angels are thought of as white. And in the subtle regions, sometimes even you see the subtle form of Brahma Baba with very, very subtle wings. The art department has added wings because they're symbolic. There's not really wings because we don't fly with that kind of bird wings, but we have other wings, the wings of Gyan and Yoga, the wings of being double light, the wings of those who have left their old dust body behind, and it's gone up in the flames of the fire of yoga, and then come the messenger angels, those who are in white and who fly around the world with a message of peace. And this is the work of angels. And Christmas is the time in which angels are created. And so who are those angels? Who are the ones? Who are those dead souls who are given life by the light of that index finger which touches you and you come alight like magic? It is us. And sometimes you say, but Baba, why me? Have you ever said that to yourself? Why me? I am just a regular person. There's nothing special about me. But yet Baba says, no, you are Baba's selection. You don't know your own births. Again, in today's Murli, Baba said this. You don't know who you are. You look in the mirror and you see the consequences of 63 births of mistakes. And you think that's your identity. But no, it's not. There's something else, deeper, more hidden. And when Baba comes and tells you, then you wake up and then you say, Vah, who am I? Now I know who am I. Little by little, we know more. We wake up more and we transform and we become something extraordinary. And through the angelic stage, we become the kings and queens of heaven. So the birth of Christ, they always show with the little crown on his head. Otherwise, historically, there wasn't any crown. But there is a little mix-up with the birth of Krishna. Because after the work of the red and white one, Shiv Baba, Brahma Baba, Bap Dada, comes the Prince of Heaven. And so very often, Christ is called the Prince of Heaven. And in Christianity, if you leave your body, as I said, you go to heaven. Just like in Hinduism, you go to heaven. Many people go to heaven that way by dying, but then nobody's there. You know, there was one Murli in which Baba said, no, nobody's, they're not there. They didn't go to heaven. But we are studying in this extraordinary college for kings and princes and queens and princesses and emperors and empresses. Sometimes even Baba has said you are sitting on the floor studying to become kings and queens. Now we have couches and chairs and microphones and heating and all of these very pleasant, luxurious arrangements. But when Baba first came, it was very, very simple. And so from the simplest to the most developed, the most extraordinary. And so, as you know, Brahma Baba was a jeweler, a designer of jewelry. And he took that sanskara and with that redesigned himself under the directions of Shiv Baba. And that is also another set of footsteps for us to follow as we completely redesign ourselves. Baba's given us a new mold to fit ourselves into, and each and every one is unique. Every single one of us receives our unique gift for Christmas, the unique present. And the unique present is the effect of Gyan to waken our unique souls and make us into the unique individual who takes 84 unique births. And the wonder is that we all harmonize together. Only God can get us to agree to harmonize with 84 births worth of different sanskaras with 700,000 different souls. Otherwise, it's completely impossible. This is why the world became snowy, cold, and peaceless. But Baba gets us to agree that, yes, we are points of light. And in a point of light, to harmonize with another point of light, as you see, Brother Lee is bringing the point of light practically. And everyone is going to get some new and special directions now. So remember yourself as the point of light. Become the beautiful point of light and see how easy, by one light lighting up another one, we become the tree of souls. I think the daddies are just about to come. But I'll continue for another couple of moments while they come. So had you ever thought that Christmas was so connected with Gyan? Did you ever realize that? And sometimes people, they say, oh, how is it possible that people from Western countries, from other religions and other cultures can come and become BKs? How is it possible? And if you look at yourself, you will see that how is it possible not to become? The moment the soul is lit, you see how beautiful it is as all these lights start lighting up, looking like one of those big cities at night that you see from the airplane. And this is how Brahma Baba sees us from the subtle regions. These beautiful little lights doing their wonderful acts of being pigeons, parrots, and puppets. You remember? You have to be pigeons, parrots, and puppets. Let Baba pull the strings and let yourself dance. Very, very easy in that way to have a merry Christmas, because Christmas is always said to be a merry thing, a happy thing. In fact, Daddy was saying this morning that happy Christmas means that we should be so lit up internally that we can bring happiness to the whole world. Because people don't need things. They need for their sorrow to be erased. And sorrow is erased by a change of mind. It's just a change of mind. Sorrow is a choice. Maybe there may be pain, but how we feel about it depends whether or not we have sorrow. So Baba has given us all kinds of powers and all kinds of virtues so that we can actually exercise our choice to remain above and beyond sorrow. Whether there is something that gives sorrow or not doesn't make that much difference to us. It's how we take it. And when we exercise that choice, when we keep ourselves light, double light, in the angelic stage, when we really see that everything truly is just a 3D movie. Drama means a 3D movie. You are walking around and the drama is going on all around you, but it's still like a film. 360 degrees film. And you are in the middle of it. And all the things that you can see, they are like pictures. Even the things that are going on in your mind, they're also part of that drama. And with the knowledge of drama, with the really accurate knowledge of drama, drama isn't so much to be considered as a fact, but as an approach or as an instrument whereby we can remain free from being impacted by those scenes that are taking place. And this is another reason why we can have complete peace when we are lit, when we are the stars on that Christmas tree of humanity. Peace is when you say, whatever it is, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. You come to terms with it. You make your peace with it. And immediately you are beyond. And this is where you climb into the angelic stage. Angels don't have feet. Did you know? No feet. Okay, blow out your candles, they'll come back on again. Daddy's coming in a few more minutes, and so when she comes, then you'll light them all up again, one by one, as we had that practice just now. But if you didn't blow them out, then they will burn down too far, unnecessarily. So on Christmas, one of the things we do is we have a feast. And you know that after this program, we're all going to go upstairs to the dining room. And we will have Brahma Bhojan together with the daddies. This feast of Christmas also has a lot of significance. A feast of Christmas is also a holiday. We don't do any work today. A holiday is for being. Work is for doing. And that's to keep us busy. But from time to time, we have days where we don't do anything else except just be. And the Feast of Christmas means that we are not going to be in isolation. We're going to be in the family. And the sign of love, an international, intercultural, and eternal sign of love, is sharing food. When you give food to another, it's an act of love. When you accept food from another, it's an acceptance of mutually beneficial exchange. And when we have had exchange with each other in the past, that exchange has been under the clouds or the snow or the darkness of ignorance. And because of that, we have created karmic accounts with each other. But now, at the feast of Christmas, the feast of the creation of souls, Baba says, do not have direct involvement with each other in a way that creates karmic accounts, because then you can never be free. But in order to become free, have the exchange only with Baba. And so this is why, at Christmas time, everybody writes letters to Santa Claus with their wish list. What do you want for Christmas? As a materially based human being, we used to write down things like bicycles and computers and footballs and those sorts of things. Now, as the awakened, enlightened souls, we have a different wish list. We have firm, determined thoughts about making ourselves free from those things which hold our minds down and prevent us from putting on our sparkling angelic costume and flying up above. These are the chains. They're called iron chains or golden chains, but they're chains, and they hold us down to false ego, to body consciousness, to self-doubt, to low self-esteem, all this sort of thing. And so our wish list is not that we say to Baba, Baba, please do this and do that for us, because we have that different relationship. Baba has given us everything. Every possible piece of information that could ever be given has been given to us. In fact, if you see, in the Sakar Murlis that we study, which are basically the last 5-6 years of the 1960s, all the knowledge is in there. And this knowledge is that which made Brahma Baba reach the angelic stage. And the sustenance that we receive in the Avyakt Murlis actually doesn't contain any new knowledge, but it contains a great deal of expansion and further explanation on the existing knowledge. But what does Baba say? He says, have a firm, determined thought, and you will succeed. Intensify your fire of yoga, and those unwanted things will melt away. So our wish list for Christmas, what we place before Bap Dada, is in fact our firm, determined thoughts that we will do this, and we will become free, and we will become the images that show visions, and we will put away all of those traces of vices that still nip us in the heels like an irritating dog. It just doesn't go away, it just bites you in the heels. And so you have to use the firm, determined thought to just throw that off and keep yourself totally, totally free. And so I think Daddies are just about to come. So I will take your leave with, again, very happy Christmas and Om Shanti, peace for 2,500 years. Om Shanti.